Scrolling through the forums, I saw JB Biggerstaff, head coach of the Detroit Pistons, say this.
I'm disgusted by the way that game was officiated.
And this.
The disrespect has gone far enough.
And this.
That everybody else in this league gets drafted.
So let's watch this entire game and see how we ended up where we got to. Oh, God, that's soft. Oh, really? Really? We're going to call this a foul? With all the physicality that we've allowed through the game, a little bump while Beef Stew is running to the other side, creating like the slightest of slightest screens, we can't call that a foul. Like, the problem with these fouls is that they always end up in favor of the Oklahoma City Thunder. Here's another one. Honestly, in an instance like this, Russo's hooking him. He's getting hooked. I'd like to see a double foul there. They call the double foul very rarely in today's game, but I'd like to call a double foul when both players are hooking each other. Say both you guys are at fault. Don't do this again. Like, you can see Caruso's arm is all the way around him. He's making little to no effort to remove that arm. If anything, he's going to try to use it as leverage and then cut back door. Oh, that's a flop. A little bump, total flop. There you go. There's one in favor of the Pistons. We need to get rid of this. If you go flying, we need to not make it where in the NBA you have to sell the call to get a call. It's just, that's flopping needs to go. That's a foul. I mean, you can just look at how quickly Fontecchio goes from moving full speed to getting completely stopped. This is a foul on Casey Wallace. When you're sprinting and then somebody sticks their arm out and you completely stop, you gotta call it. I don't know. It's tough not to be biased in these games. Clearly, I'm a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander hater. I admit that fully. But you know, Casey Wallace is completely enveloping Simone Fontecchio here on a drive. This has to be an and one. That might have been a foul there in the body. Turn bumps. Little grab. Yeah, jersey tug. That's a foul. And this was a hook. We need to call offensive hooking. First of all, great job by Shai. Beats, who's this? Holland off dribble. Punches him basically with that chicken wing again. And then somebody's hooking someone here. I can't tell what's going on. But from Ron Holland's reaction, it doesn't look like he was the one trying to do the hooking. Tough to see. Holland's hand checking on the hip. Oh, this is where Shai pinches it. So this is another great Shai Gilgeous-Alexander move that he does that doesn't get called. When you are like pinching, you're holding somebody, the defender's arm, to your body in between your arm and your chest. So Ron Holland is stuck here. He can't move his arm out. Then he gets punched. And then I don't even know what Shai does here, but he sort of just falls on his own. It looks like he commits a foul on himself. And that's one of those things where it goes from a foul on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to flipping completely to a foul on the defensive player. You miss it once, fine. You know, you missed it. You'll get it next time. You miss it again and again and again throughout the entire course of the game. It gets frustrating. I mean, so it's against Tim Hardaway Jr., one of the worst players in the history of the sport. So I get that. I get that he's a bad defender. This right here, offensive foul. He gets one bump. He goes second bump, sort of like above your solar plexus, chicken wing elbow to the chest. If Tim Hardaway Jr. flops, he gets the foul call. I don't think, again, you need to flop to draw a foul in today's game. If that's how we're reffing it, then we need to fix refereeing. We need to fix the rule book. If flopping is the only way to draw a defensive foul, then you're going to see a lot of fucking flopping. And that's what we don't want in today's game. So this offensive foul, solar plexus and above elbow from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you got to call it. Obviously, they don't call it. Steps back. Tim Hardaway Jr. I don't know. Did you say this is a landing space foul? It looks to me like Shai's feet aren't even trying to land. Like, let's say you shoot right here. You fade backwards naturally. He should end up right about there. And instead his feet end up forward. You can't call that, man. Just, that's what? An offensive foul and a foul baiting successfully done in the same shot. It's tough, man. These games against Shai Gilgeous-Alexander are tough, and he's just mastered the art of getting the refs to call the foul for him. I see why JB Bickerstaff is pissed, man. I mean, look at that, by the way. Bump, lunge. That's a foul. See this Shai get arm? That's a foul. You got to call that. You call it on one side, you got to call it on the other. Again, just because Jalen Duren is strong doesn't mean you can't call a foul when he gets slapped on the arm. Tough to see, but whenever somebody who's setting a screen does this, you got to call a foul somewhere. And Isaiah Hartenstein notoriously moves on every one of his screens. You call it on Duren, you got to call it on Hartenstein. See, and this is what just makes me curious. How is this not like a moving screen on Hartenstein? He's basically like boxing out Asur Thompson here so that Asur can't switch. I don't know how you don't call that. And I know Asur doesn't do a great job at trying to get back to his man. But like, this isn't... What is this? What is that? I don't know why Asur called a tech on himself, but okay. Oop, 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 oop. I mean, that's a foul on Hartenstein. Like, you can't... This is a foul on Hartenstein. The other two, you could make the case it's not a foul. It looks like Kenrich is jumping. And then, of course, Hartenstein says, well, I'm taller, I'm going to jump. The refs just let that happen. Another thing that the refs do. Like, I know that the NBA players and players in every professional sport are taught, just, you know, get yourself an advantage until the refs call you out on it. It's up to the refs to call them out on this. Hartenstein was bear hugging / cuddling / spooning with Isaiah Hartenstein while Kenrich Williams had the jump ball. If you want to call it jump ball instead of a foul, that's fine. Have the guy who's jumping the ball be part of the guy who was part of the jump ball process, not the guy who was fouling. But they don't care. That's a moving screen. I saw it coming the whole way. He sets up here, and then he moves. Moving screen. You got to call that. Like, what is this screen here? It's one thing to get screened. This is getting held. Like, Beasley's trying to get back, and he's getting held. Do we not call that? Is that a foul on Joe? Yeah, that's a foul. I mean, just because you power through it doesn't mean you don't call the foul. That should be an and one. Let's see what happens here. Oh, that's not a foul. I know he pushed, and this is why we need to... This is another problem with the NBA is what is a screen? If you push, it's a penalty. It's a foul. Like, this isn't a screen. But at the same time, Lu Dort flops here. He looks like he got shot. It was the gentlest of pushes. The arms were already extended. I don't know if you call that. And now it's a technical foul on JB Bickerstaff. He's saying, I'm not enjoying how this game's being officiated. I get that. I don't know about that. Russo's running full speed. Moni goes straight up. That's not a foul. I'm sorry, what are they reviewing here? Dort goes under. Sticks on Cade. Gets bumped. Slips back on his own man. Breaks his groin. Shot. And then Beef Stew throws Jalen Williams out of the way on the box out. Like, yeah, that's a foul on Beef Stew right here. I'm fine with that. What is the flagrant? What are they reviewing? So, I mean, all right, so Jalen Williams has the ball here. It looks like he's ready to shoot a technical free throw. It looks like the refs have to meet up and say, we're not shooting a technical free throw. Malik Beasley comes in and he's like, this isn't a technical free throw. I'm gonna just take the ball to enforce this and let you guys figure it out. Cade just says, what are we doing? And then he tees him up. What? That's a horrible tech. That's a 0-star F-tier tech. It sounds to me like the official got tired of people questioning him, even though he was in the wrong, and he gave Cade a tech. And that's just poor officiating. Could Cade have helped his case by not badgering the referees? Absolutely. But cooler heads prevail. You can't just give up a tech because you're frustrated that other people are annoying. This is your job. That's like 3 technical fouls that have been called on the Pistons this game. It looks like the other ref was just fine. This ref, 45 here, just got annoyed. If anything, it looks like he got annoyed at Malik Beasley not giving him the ball. And then they gave it to Cade. And now there's another tech. What is happening? This one happened off camera. Another technical foul. And JB Bickerstaff is just saying, you know what? We're not going to win this. Let him have it, fans. Oh my gosh, what is happening? Looks like it's called on Schroeder. What did he do? And another tech. And they throw Cade Cunningham out of the game. Nice job. Nice job, refs. This is what you want to do, is throw out the superstar of the home team in a competitive game against the #1 team in the Western Conference. The main takeaway of the altercations, if you will, is that the Thunder had been getting the benefit of a friendly whistle for the entire game and for this entire goddamn season. And JB Bickerstaff is just frustrated. His team plays on the edge, he plays on the line. That's what good, young, high effort, low talent guys do, is they give you the effort, they give you the energy, and they try to grit and grind out victories. And you have to give credit where credit is due. The Pistons are doing a really good job this season. They've exceeded expectations like I predicted at the beginning of the year, and they are just balling out, having a great time. And then JB Bickerstaff mentions that he wanted the refs to look into a possible flagrant foul, elbow to the head and neck injury on that Tim Hardaway Jr. challenge that just never got looked at. I think he certainly has a case, because Tim Hardaway Jr. was just playing defense and he gets elbowed, like I said, above the solar plexus, close to the neck. And they said nothing. Asir Thompson gets teed up, probably because of all those moving screens from Isaiah Hartenstein that never get called, and I'm sure he was hot on that. That's why he asked for the technical. Then JB Bickerstaff gets teed up for seemingly no reason. And then they go to this play where Lou Dort trips on his own guy, breaks his groin. Isaiah Stewart throws his defender out of the way for a loose ball foul, and then they go to review it for a hostile act? What are we doing? And then they start teeing people up only on the Pistons side, because the Pistons are confused what is happening. The refs screw up, not knowing if it's going to be a technical foul or just a common foul. Do there need to be players on the line, or don't there need to be players on the line for the free throw? The refs get confused. They check in, they say, okay. Cade is like, dude, what is going on? Like, there's a lack of clarity from the referees. And then in the response to this, instead of clearing everything up, making sure everybody's aware and understanding of what's going on, I understand the referees can't be these paragons of good and saviors of NBA players. If Cade is being an asshole, like, you sure, maybe eventually you have to tee him up. But they were confused too. And then he tees up Cade. Now Cade is hot because you just gave the other team one free point, basically. Then they shoot a free throw. Off screen, nobody knows what happens. You tee up Dennis Schroeder. Now there's another point. Then you tee up Cade again, throw him out of the game, throw out the other team's, the Pistons' best player, the franchise player, a #1 overall pick who gets treated like a number 31 overall pick. And then they get another point because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is shooting the free throw. And then they go to the free throws from the original foul in the first place. And all this happened because Lou Dort stepped on his own guy's foot. And it's just, it makes no sense why the NBA refs are allowed to officiate this way. And it reeks of rigged, it reeks of favoritism, and it reeks of the Oklahoma City Thunder getting the benefit of the whistle every single game.